Good evening, guys. Happy Sunday. After a little Christmas break, we're back for Stretch and Reset. You'll notice the Christmas tree has been replaced by a dog crate. It's been a crazy Christmas, clearly. Don't worry, there should be hopefully no barking during the proceedings this evening if everything goes to plan. Right, for those of you who are joining this evening live, make sure that you've got yourself a cushion or pillow nearby, a resistance band or strap that you can use, and also a thick book or a block if you've got one. Also make sure you've got some water nearby you as well. For those of you joining on demand, you need the same things, so you can pause and run and grab them now. For those of you who are joining me here live, ping those playlists on from the beginning for me now, and just make sure that your Spotify volume is a little bit lower than your Zoom volume, and then you should be able to hear me just fine over the top as we go. We're going to start off today in a seated position on the mat. So just coming to the center of your mat, we're just going to cross those legs, and we're going to start by placing our hands on the knees. We're just going to start with some nice shoulder rolls backwards. So slowly bringing the shoulders all the way up to the ears, round and back down. Now this time breathing in as we bring those shoulders up, and breathing out as we bring them down and back. We're just going to work through another 3 or 4 circles here in your own time. Now remember, today's class is all about finding what you need for your body. So if a specific pose is feeling really good for you and you want to stay there a little bit longer, then please feel free to. Equally, if something feels uncomfortable, please just come out of that pose as well. Take breaks whenever you need, and just give me a little wave in the chat if you need anything as we go. We're going to take the right hand down to the side, left hand up over the head, and just come into a nice side stretch to begin with. Now you may notice today, just as a pre-warning, that there's some poses that I come out of a little bit quicker. It's just because there's a few things I'm not allowed to do yet. So if you notice me come out, don't worry, follow my voice instead, and I will let you know when to move in your poses. On your next exhale, just walking that right hand a little bit further out as we breathe a little bit more into that side stretch, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the left hand down to the side. The right hand comes up and over and into exactly the same stretch on the other side for me. Now you might start to notice here some imbalances between the left hand side and the right hand side. Remember, absolutely nothing to worry about whatsoever. Just remember and note to yourself as we go through today's class, all of that stretch was a little bit tighter on the left or the right, and make a mental note to try in this coming week to work through some stretching in those areas a little bit more. And on your next exhale for me, just walking that left hand out a little bit more and into a little bit more of a stretch out. Perfect, looking great, guys. Well done, Matty. Nice, Gemma. Holding for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back to center, we're going to bring the left hand up to join the right, interlink those fingers and just stretch them up and overhead as if you're waking up and getting out of bed in the morning. Just give me the nice big stretch, trying to reach that ceiling away from you for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Bring those hands down. We're just going to work through a few neck rolls. So bringing the chin down to the chest to begin with, and then taking that head over to look to the right hand side, then bringing the chin up towards the ceiling as you look up. The chin comes over to the left and then back down towards the chest. We're just going to work through 3 circles in each direction, breathing in and out as we go. Looking great, guys. One more in this direction. Well done. And when you get back to center this time, just want you to take a second to shake it off, bring that chin back down, and then we're heading the other way. So over to the left first, then chin up to the ceiling and back, round to the right-hand side, and back down to the chest. And 2 more little circles here before we finish off this little section for today. 1 more for me. Really go as far as you can, looking as far back and up as you can. And back to center. Well done, guys. We're going to carefully move from where we are up into our tabletop position. So just take the legs so that they're underneath the hips and the hands so that they are underneath the shoulders. Now we're going to work through some cat-cow here. So for those of you who haven't joined us on these classes before, we know in this class, we absolutely love to just spend a couple of minutes here working at our own pace through the body. So you're going to bring the belly button up to the ceiling, round through the shoulders, tuck the chin into the chest as we come up into that cat position. And then breathing out, we're going to stick that tail up to the sky, sink the belly button down, and bring the forehead up to the ceiling, looking as far up as we can. On the breath in, we're going to round ourselves through again. Don't worry if you feel a few clicks or cracks down that spine, it's totally normal. And on the exhale, dropping that belly all the way up to the ceiling with that gaze and sticking that tail up to the ceiling as well. Now I'm going to leave you here for a minute or so to work through these cat-cows at your own pace. You might want to wriggle sideways, backwards and forwards, maybe in a figure of 8. As you go, just try and find any areas that your body really needs to stretch out today. Just slowly moving through, trying to hold those movements. If you find a specific area where you can feel things are a little bit more tense, then just try and wiggle through that little bit for longer. Remembering to channel into your breath as you go. So using your inhales and then moving into your next movement as you exhale out as well. Great work, guys. Keep it going. Completely at your own pace. If it helps, close those eyes down so that you can ignore everyone else on the screen and just channel in to your body and how you're feeling in these poses. Going to be here for about another 30 seconds. So for these last 30 seconds, I really want you to focus on the depth of your breathing as you go. So bring that nose inhale really nice and deep into the chest. And as you exhale, really sigh out the week and any stress that we're letting go of before we move into that next pose. Well done, guys. Looking great, Emily. Well done, G. Nice, Abby. Good work. Last few seconds here. Just move through any final areas that you feel need a bit of a wiggle. And we're going to meet back in tabletop in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. We're going to bring those feet together. Take the knees out to the side a little bit as we sit back into our first child's pose of today's class. Now bring the hands out in front of you. Stretch those fingertips really nice and wide. How far can you get your thumb from that little finger? As you push back onto the heels, you'll notice that you feel your groins starting to stretch. We want to activate the back here. So I want you to push those hands deep into the floor. And as you push, you should notice that your shoulders start to feel like they're stretching, and all the way down that back as well, all the way from the top of your spine through to that coccyx and in that groin area too. Looking good, Gemma. Well done. Nice work, team. Now, while we're here, just want you to close those eyes down and have a think about one thing you're really proud of achieving in this first week of training this year. And if you come into any negative thoughts throughout today's class, I just want you to come back to that one moment that you're thinking of and channel the positivity that you felt in that moment. If there's any stretches today where you feel a little bit uncomfortable or they don't feel right for your body, this is the pose I want you to come back to. So this is going to be our resting pose for today. When you're ready, we're going to take that right arm and we're going to feed it through under the left arm, bringing the shoulder down to the floor as we stretch through that shoulder. Allow your head to follow the hand, so you're looking over to the left-hand side as well. With that shoulder as far down to that floor as you can go. Focus on keeping that bum back towards the heels as well. And you should feel a really nice deep stretch across the back of the scapula, that shoulder blade, and into the top of that shoulder joint as well. It can be quite difficult to keep the breathing going in this position because we're kind of closing in over the lungs. So if you want to, you can take your left hand and bring it up and behind your back, and that's just going to help open your chest up a little bit more. Totally up to you, wherever you feel more comfortable. If that's too much for you today, just bring that hand back down and relax into that position. You'll notice that today we're going to hold a lot of our stretches for quite a prolonged period of time, really helping us to stretch out those muscles and focusing how we mean to go on for this year, prioritizing all areas of our recovery as well as our training. Well done, guys. When you're ready, bringing that right arm back to center. Take that left arm through and under the right arm for me, and coming into that shoulder stretch now on the left-hand side instead. Again, allow the head to follow you in this stretch. So looking over to the right-hand side as well as you go. Perfect, looking great. Well done, guys. Again, if you want to open up that chest a little bit more and you found it helpful on the other side, then you can take that right arm and bring it up and over the back so that you've got a little bit more space to breathe into as we stretch through that shoulder. Well done. Staying here for another 10. Really deep focus on that breathing. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bringing the arms back forwards and just stretching yourself one final time here into child's pose again. Sending that bum back, pushing those hands into the floor, and just noticing if that feels a little bit more comfortable than it did the first time. Starting to notice a few improvements in that flexibility as we're stretching the body out. When you're ready, coming back to your tabletop position, bring your feet back to parallel, tuck those toes, send bum up to the sky, and we're pushing ourselves up into our first downward dog of today's stretching session. Now, those backs of those legs are probably feeling pretty tight, so we're going to start off by pedaling through those feet, left, and then right, left, and then right. Well done. Now with the bum, I want you to think that you're sending it up to the corner of the room where the top of the wall meets the ceiling. So it's going back and up at the same time. We're going to keep quite active through these lower body stretches as we go. But if you're feeling ready, I want you to take a moment now to lift up onto the tiptoes and then push down, heels to the floor, into a deep downward dog stretch for me. If it's a bit too much, then just keep those legs pedaling. Remember keeping a little bend in those knees, and we're just going to hold it here for about 15 seconds. Nice deep breathing as we go. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Allow the gaze to follow back between the knees, or if you wish, of course, close those eyes down. Perfect. Well done, team. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Walking those hands forwards, coming onto the tiptoes, coming into our high plank position. Slowly lower the knees down to the floor, untuck the toes, and bring the chest down to the floor as well. Taking one hand either side of the chest, keeping the legs nice and narrow. We're going to take a deep breath in. And as we breathe out, we're going to push up into our upward dog. Now, because we've got the legs nice and narrow, this should be felt more in that core. And as you go, you can take a few little turns over the shoulder left and right if you wish to, which I'm not going to do because I'll get massively told off if I do that. But I'm going to come check how we're doing over here. Looking great, guys. Well done. A few little rotations just to ease through that spine. And when you're ready, just want you to lower yourself back down to the floor. Now we're going to take the feet out a little bit wider. So to the edge of your mat or further. Another deep breath in. And as you breathe out, pushing up again. But this time we should be feeling that stretch a little bit more in the hips rather than the core. Try and push those hips down into the floor if you can. If you can feel that you're tensing that bum a little bit, then try and let go of it in this position. And again, option here to have a look back over those shoulders left and right if you would like to. Looking good, guys. Well done. Take those rotations nice and slowly if you are using them. Remember, it's not about how many times we do things or how quickly we do things in these classes. It's about moving how the body feels. And after your next deep breath in and out, we're going to tuck those toes, send that bum up to the corner of the room again as we come into our downward dog stretch again. Pedaling through those legs if you need to, or if you feel ready, coming into that static stretch. Whichever feels more comfortable for you is absolutely fine. Again, staying here for around 15 seconds. Perhaps swaying a little bit from left to right as well. Perfect, well done, guys. Holding for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to step the right foot forwards between the two hands. If you need to just wiggle yourself there rather than step, that's absolutely fine. Drop the left knee down to the floor and just bring yourself up to your half kneel. Now, at this point, you're going to need your band and your cushion if they're nearby. So if you're on a hard floor, you might want to pop your cushion underneath your back knee. If you're comfortable, then don't worry about it. It's absolutely fine. We're going to start off by turning over the left shoulder, taking a hold of the foot in our hand, or if you need, using your band to loop the foot instead and help you bring it in towards the glute for me as we stretch through. You should feel a nice deep stretch down the front of that left leg. You can always use the band to help you bring it up, and then once the leg's in the foot, the leg, so many different things, the foot is in your hand, then you can let go of the band should you wish. Using a wall or a chair nearby to support yourself if you need. Taking a nice deep breath in. And on the exhale, just bending slightly into the right knee as we shift the weight forward a little bit. Hopefully starting to feel a bit more of a stretch down the front of that left leg. If it's too much for you, just take the bend away from that right leg. And if it's not quite enough, on your next breath, just give it an inch more, even a millimeter. It's totally fine. Just giving it a little bit more every single time. Well done, guys. Going to be holding here for around another 20 seconds. If you need to come up out of the stretch and then lower yourself back in, that's absolutely fine. Remember, we can stay mobile throughout these stretches. We don't have to be fully static, gradually increasing our range of motion as we go. Holding for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lowering that left leg down. Lift that cushion out for me. And we're going to pivot and turn. So we're going to come towards the front so that you're on the ball of your right foot, hands either side of the foot, and we're going to bring the left foot onto the heel. Now we're going to be working through stretching the inner area of the hamstring this time. So with your heel on the floor, just gradually think about pointing those toes up towards the ceiling or back towards your head, and that is just going to increase that stretch that you feel from that groin area all the way down the inside of the leg. Now, if you feel ready, you can start to drop your body towards the floor. If you've got a block or books or cushions and you want to come as low as the elbows, then you can use that to block yourself and give a bit more height. Or if you can lower all the way down to the floor and you wish to, then feel free. Remember to stay within where is comfortable for you today. If that's up on those hands, that is absolutely fine. Just listen to your body in this stretch. Again, we're going to be staying here for around 30 seconds. Got a few gritted teeth. I think they're feeling a bit tight, those hamstrings, aren't they? Em's nodding at me. She's like, I think so. Well done, Matty. Good work. Got about 10 seconds left. So if you want to stretch any further here, drop your level now and just with your next exhale, allow yourself to fall a little bit further towards that floor. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Carefully bring yourself back up onto those hands, slip that block out the way. We're going to bring ourselves to the half kneel, but with the left leg in front this time, so you should be facing the other way. Grab your cushion and pop it under the right knee this time, if you need. And we're going to rotate over that right shoulder using the band or the hand to bring that foot in towards the glute and repeat our quad stretch, but on the right hand side. I'll give you all a moment to get that initial stretch there. And then when you're feeling ready, start to use that breath to just push yourself just a little bit further as we bend into that left knee. Remember, if it's too much for you today, that's absolutely fine. Stay nice and upright. If you want to go a little bit further, just use every exhale to push yourself to the next little level. Great work, guys. Again, remember that band is there to help you if you need it as well, to loop that leg. Nice work. Keep holding there for me, about another 15 seconds. I know this one can be quite intense, so really use that breath to help manage how you're feeling. As we take more fresh oxygen in, that muscles start to relax off. Well done. Holding for another 5, for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lower that back leg towards the floor. Bring yourself onto the ball of the left foot this time as you take that cushion out. Make sure your block or book is nearby. So we're taking the right leg out this time onto the heel. I'll wait for everyone to shuffle around, don't worry. Perfect. So once we're here, Make sure you're pointing those toes as high as you can, so up towards the ceiling, or if you can, flexing that foot back towards you. And we're going to start to increase that stretch down the inner thigh if you're feeling like you want to take this further. So start to lower the chest towards the floor, using either the hands to do so and bending the elbows, or bringing those forearms down onto a block or onto the floor if you have that much mobility, which after the new year, I definitely don't right now. Good work, guys. Well done. Looking good. Perfect. Just concentrating on that breath to help distract us from any tensing in those joints or muscles. Holding here for another 5. Take it one step further if you wish to now. For 4. For 3. For 2. And 1. Carefully bring yourself back up onto those hands. Slide that block out the way and just bring yourself back to a central tabletop position. So coming back to those knees under the hips and hands underneath those shoulders. Perfect. Once we're here, we're just going to take one round of cat-cow. So first off, moving into your cat, arching that back up, squeezing that belly button in. And then on your next exhale, just moving round to that cow pose. When you're ready, tucking the toes, sending the bum up to that corner and back into our downward dog. Again, if you need to keep pedaling those legs, that is absolutely fine. Please do. Equally, if you want to rise onto those tiptoes and then push yourself into a really deep stretch, then now is your chance to do so. Just going to be staying here for about another 15 seconds before we move into a few hip opening stretches and some glute stretching, which I know was highly requested this evening. Keep that breathing going for me for 5, for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just step those hands forwards a tiny bit for me. Come onto the balls of the toes into your high plank. We're going to take the right foot and step it over towards the left hand, lowering the knee down to the right towards the right hand and stretching that back leg out as we come into our first pigeon of today. Now, from here, you may want your block or cushion again. You can stay up on your hands if you feel like the stretch through that right glute and hip is enough there. But if you want to take it a little bit further, you can use your cushion to gradually kind of lower that height for you. Of course, you can go fully down to the floor if you wish to as well. Use that block and cushion to help increase and decrease your depth in your stretches as you go. Now, this is a great one for trying to close those eyes down if you can. So if you feel ready, just bring those eyes to a close. And I just want you to focus on that breathing in through the nose for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and out through the mouth for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. In through the nose for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Out through the mouth for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. If you're ready and want to drop it a little bit lower, now is your time to do so as we breathe in again for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Breathing out again for me for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gradually bring yourself back up onto those hands, really nice and slowly. Taking the hands back out in front of us, we're going to tuck that back foot, take the right foot out to join it, and then bring the left foot forward to the right hand, knee down to the left hand side as we come to our pigeon on the left this time. Again, option to stay up on those hands, or we can start to move down into the stretch using our block or pillow to help us. If you're feeling good, then start to fold onto those forearms for me. Now, one side may feel tighter than the other, perhaps. If that's this side, just make a mental note that this week, stretch your left glute a little bit more. Well done, team. Again, if you can, closing down those eyes as we breathe in for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and in for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. In for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering yourself down just a little bit further for our final breaths. In for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And last deep breath out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. When you're ready, just carefully coming back up onto those hands for me. Shuffle that cushion or block out of the way. Tucking the right toe, taking the left toe back to meet it. Lowering those knees down to the floor, slowly lowering the chest down, and then pushing yourself up into our upward dog once you're ready. Once you're here, use those rotation options if you need them over the left shoulder, over the right shoulder. And we're now going to move into our final phase of today's class. So from here, I just want you to lower yourself down, turn yourself around onto the back. Use this time to just have a little drink if you need. Make sure your cushion is nearby and also your strap or cable as well. And we're slowly going to lower down onto that back when you're ready. Using the cushion to just get nice and comfy. And to begin with, I just want you to bring the base of those feet together and just allow the knees to flop out to the side. And this is really going to help to just open up the back where we've been stretching in those pigeon stretches. It's just a really nice counter stretch after the pigeon. Focus that breathing again after the little break. Bringing it back to being nice and deep in through the nose and out through the mouth. Well done. When you're ready, stretching the right leg out to the floor for me, bringing the left knee into the chest and giving it a really nice big hug. Taking the left arm out to the left-hand side, you're going to take your right hand onto the outside of the left knee. Now from here, I want you to turn your gaze to the left And then slowly use that right hand to bring that left leg over towards the right hand side into our spinal twist. Good work, guys. Looking great. Don't worry if that spine has a nice little click. Mine did too. Holding for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly bring yourself back to center. Give that left knee another big hug into the chest. And then slowly lower that left leg down, bringing the right knee up in towards the chest. Instead, nice big hug. Slowly taking that right arm out to the side this time. The left hand comes to the outside of the right knee. Turn that gaze to the right hand side as you use the right hand to pull that leg over to the left hand side into our spinal stretch in the other direction. Nice, guys. Again, holding here for a little while, just opening up that spine. For another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly rolling back to center and bringing that right knee in for a nice big hug. Again. Slowly letting go so that both legs are now on the floor and just giving them a little bit of a shake out before we move into our next couple of stretches. I want you to bring the right foot to the floor. So bending the knee, bringing the right foot down onto the floor. We're then going to grab our band and use this to loop the left foot. So bring it in towards you, looping behind the left foot and stretching up towards the ceiling for me. Should start to feel a bit of a deep stretch down that hamstring. Try and keep a little bend in the knee for me. And all I want you to do is gradually pull that strap a little bit more until you find that hamstring stretch all the way from the back of the knee to the bottom of the glutes. If you're ready to intensify the stretch a little bit more, then drop that right leg flat to the floor, and that's going to increase for you. If that's too much today, keep that right leg bent for me. And just every time you exhale, pulling a teeny weeny little bit more on that band. Just a minuscule little development in that stretch. Holding for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Carefully unwrapping that foot for me. I want you to bring the left foot on top of the right knee for me now. So coming into our figure of 4 shape, leaning through the gap between the legs, taking a hold of either the back of the thigh or the shin. The shin is going to be more intense. Take your pick and gradually bring that leg in towards the chest as we start to stretch through that left glute and hip in our figure of 4 stretch. As I mentioned, if you want to intensify this, then move the grip to the shin, and that is going to bring it into a deeper stretch through that glute. Again, focusing on keeping that breath nice and deep, getting some fresh oxygen in to help relax off those muscles. Well done, guys. Not holding here for too much longer. Another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lowering that right leg down to the floor and bring the left leg to the bent position this time. Grabbing your band once more We're going to wrap the right foot this time as we take it up into our hamstring stretch on this side. Keeping that light bend in the back of the knee. Just bring every exhale, using it to bring a little bit more oomph to that stretch. And if you want to take it to that next stage, remember you can drop that left leg flat to the floor. Again, if you want to keep it bent, then that is absolutely fine. Nice deep breath in and out. Well done, guys. And in and out. And as you breathe out, bringing that right foot to the left knee this time into our figure of 4 again. Unwrap that band if you were using one. Leaning through the gap, taking a hold of either the back of the thigh or the shin. And coming into our glute stretch. On the right hand side, the final stretch of today's class. If you haven't already got those eyes closed down, then I'd love you to join me now in closing those eyes down. Focusing on that breathing. And holding here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keeping those eyes closed, just lowering both legs now down to the floor. Either taking your hands out to the side or one hand onto the chest and one hand onto the belly. We're just going to take a few moments here for ourselves. Just rounding off today's class. Thinking of that positive thought that I asked you for during our first child's pose. I want you to bring that to the front of your mind now. Allow it to bring a little smile to your face, perhaps. As you breathe in through that nose and out through that mouth. I'm going to leave you here for a few moments by yourself, and I'll come back and let you know when it's ready to round off today's class. Now, if you feel like you'd like to stay here for a little bit longer, then please feel free to. That's absolutely fine. If you're ready to finish off today's class, then keeping your eyes closed, just slowly roll yourself over with bent knees onto one side into a little fetus position. Keeping the eyes closed again, just bringing the palms of the hands to the floor and using them to push yourself up into a seated cross-legged position for me. Bringing one hand onto each knee. Again, keeping those eyes closed. We're just going to finish today's class exactly how we started. We're going to take a nice deep breath in through the nose as we bring those shoulders up to our ears. And we're going to sigh that breath out nice and sharply as we bring them down and back. And when you're ready, just slowly blinking those eyes back open and rejoining. It's a bit bright in here. Ooh, I'm coming on over. How are we doing, guys? We're feeling a little bit more like we have got working legs now, hopefully. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining me this evening, team. It was lovely to see all of your faces back here on a Sunday evening again. Next week, the lovely Emma will be taking your class, and she's gonna be leading you through a really nice yoga and mobility session. So it's one to make sure that you can come and join if you can. If you can't, don't worry, just like today, it will get uploaded into True Coach so you can catch up at any point. As always, I will stay here in case anyone's got any questions, but thanks so much for joining me, guys, and I hope to see you all again next week. But if I don't talk to you before tomorrow, have a lovely week and good luck with all of your training. Well done, guys, and see you all soon. Bye.